Hello, everyone. We are so excited to have you back with us today. I am Pastor T. Welcome to Sisters in Ministry. Why don't you welcome them there, Minister D?
I am Minister D, and I am happy to be with you all again today. And today is truly the day that the Lord has made. And so we should rejoice in that.
All right, well, come on in with the church stuff today. That's what I'm talking about. Be glad in it. Magnify him with me. Y'all know that
Yeah.
it don't take but 2 seconds. My head get to going. The kids say I'm going to be the old church lady at church where you like doing that. And they just like, oh my goodness. How they say, well, come on in here then. Y'all better come on in here
Yeah.
today. It done
All right.
already got hot up here in Sisters in Ministry today with
Oh,
Pastor
yeah.
T and Minister D.
Minister
We
D.
are talking
Yeah.
about something that is so impactful, so meaningful to us because we do global ministry. And so on
Yes.
today, we are sharing global impact ministry beyond borders. Oh,
Yes.
Minister D, let's just talk about it.
Oh,
So, what are some of your first memories of, because our parents did so much in ministry? They were kind of really ahead of their time in a lot of things that they did and that they exposed us to in ministry. What
mm-hmm.
is the first time that you can actually remember? Because you're much younger than John and Tim and I. Do you remember ministry, global ministry?
I can remember when they were attending Gaston State in Gaston, and they had friends and they met people that were from different countries, and they would invite them to eat dinner and just kind of interact with them and let them know that they are loved and welcome in the United States. There are people here that, wholeheartedly, because they invited them to church, everything,
Mm-hmm.
if whatever they could do to extend that hand, um, that hand of God to those uh, people that were here in school, and some were teaching and things like that. That was my first take on global ministry. Now you might be able to elaborate more because you can remember in detail, but those are the things that I remember right off memory.
Yes, I mean you are correct. Those are some of the first memories that I had. Other than seeing, Billy Graham and those people on TV doing evangel,
Mhm.
types of things around the world. Our parents were the first ones. I mean, they were instrumental. They would bring the people over. We were exposed to so many different cultures. I
Mhm.
didn't realize that the people ate the stuff with their hands. Excuse me. They saw
Right.
that as a kind of like humbling kind of thing of welcoming you in, and so it was just great to be exposed to that. But the thing I remember the most, like you said, how
Mhm.
our parents made them feel welcome, how they,
Yes.
like said, this is love, Jesus is love, come on to church with us. They made it into a family love type of thing, and
Yes.
through that I think it caused the global ministry right at that point, even though we didn't realize it as children, to begin to grow. That seed was
Right.
planted without dad even really knowing that's the
Yes.
direction we would be going in many years ago as we founded it together. We didn't know that, but isn't that amazing? We're talking about,
Yes. Yes.
global impact ministry beyond borders.
Oh,
And
yes.
all those years ago, I mean,
Yes.
you were little, you had to be like 4 or 5 or something. You were
Yes.
real young, and
Yes.
they were doing that type of ministry then. Wow. So it's just amazing to see how God works and how he can
Mhm.
work within a family and how
Right.
he can
Right.
cause that for us to be able to really just grow in him. I'm excited about this on today. I'm looking at these
Yeah.
notes here. I know you see the botanical behind me. I'm in the botanical garden of America here. All right now. So we are talking about reaching beyond our local community. I mean, a lot of times,
Yes.
Minister D, and you can answer after me. We when we do ministry, we kind of get
Uh-huh.
caught up in the four walls of where we are, and it becomes hard to get Christians and believers to change their mind and want to move beyond that to do more
Right.
ministry for the world. What do
Right.
you think?
Right. I think that the old way of doing things are slowly just being, outdated. I think that a lot of the global ministry and being able to reach out to people in just a few short minutes is awesome, and it's changing how we are able to have a ministry that's global, and all the work that is done and put into that. Pastor,
Yeah.
is it's amazing to me. It's just amazing, and how the people in that ministry along with us, how they reach back out and how they include us as well as we include them.
Yes, and that's the part you said something that was very, very critical and important at that moment. It's not just a thing of like Meriwether Global Ministry. I'm using us because I know about us. We reach
Yes.
out to them. No, they reach back out to us too, and it's a
Yes.
partnership that's formed, and we're growing and we're doing work. The exciting part about it is that we're
Yes.
getting to do it as family members. You know, with you
Right.
being my sister, we're getting to talk about
Yes.
things. Yes, this podcasting is one of many things that we'll be doing this year, but it's a great way to say, hey, that you can talk about things in ministry. We can
Right.
talk about ways to grow it. We can give
Hmm.
you information and tools that you need, along with some tips, along with celebrating being sisters that will help you to really grow and kind of expand maybe what your view and your thoughts are about
Right.
ministry. Yeah.
Right.
Our dad always said that it was beyond the four walls. He said whenever we were doing just in church ministry, that we were preaching to the choir basically. And
Right.
so I don't know
Right.
about you, Minister D, but it's time to get outside of the four walls. Yeah,
Yes,
I
get
think it's
outside of those
really
four walls and reach the masses, in other countries, wherever you can, reach out to. That's something that, being sisters in ministry, my you have taught me so much in this ministry walk, and especially about the global ministry, because once it started, Meriwether Global, you were totally sold out, and just to see that we've reached so many
Mhm.
people is awesome, and to hear them talk to you on, when they're reaching out and everything, it just amazes me that being sisters and ministers, being sisters and ministers, and just the thing that you do is just an awesome thing. And I know it's our thing, but
Mhm.
you are the one that has invested so much time into making this global ministry what it is. So I'm just amazed, and just, it's a whole new walk for me, and it has changed
Mhm.
my perspective of ministry and the things, of what to expect, instead of going to church and just,
Mhm.
once you go to church, most of the time that's all we look for. But once you go to church, and then you know that you can also reach out to people, not only in your city, your state, your country, you're reaching out to people all over the world. I just think that
Mhm.
is wonderful.
Well, here's the thing, and you can attest to this too, as we've learned, as we've been on this journey of doing ministry as sisters
Mhm.
together, is that what we think is a little bit amount of money and thing in doing a ministry, it turns out to actually be a lot. For them, when we're talking about like $20 and you can feed a family of five,
Right.
we
Right.
can't even comprehend that. Not just for a day, you're feeding them like a week. That's mind blowing
Right. Right.
to
And
me. When we
right. And
first
I was
encountered that, it was like, oh my goodness.
right. And I
I
can
just
tell
couldn't
you,
even
for me,
believe it.
sister, that the
Mm-hmm.
first time when you were introducing the different amounts that people were donating, and I think we were talking about like maybe $15, and you were saying, well,
Mm-hmm.
that'll get a whole big bag of
Mm-hmm.
rice, and I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking. really? Because
Yeah.
here in the United States, things are a little pricey, and over
Yeah.
there, I was just so amazed to see how ministry and the works that we do was
Mm-hmm.
helping those people that we were reaching out to. So I am truly amazed every time we
Mm-hmm.
do anything or talk about anything dealing with the global ministry.
Yes, and so am I. Here's the thing. I was sitting here and I was, thinking about that, during the pandemic, during all those
Mhm.
times, it was so important. Those are the moments when doing global ministry was really, really impactful. The way
Yes.
that we were doing it, because you really couldn't be in contact with people, like physically in
Right.
contact with people. You couldn't go to church. And
Hmm.
so it kind of created this community of
Right.
people for me, because we weren't able to physically be there, but because we had this relationship with them, we could continue on kind of serving together. So that at that moment, that's when it kind of really locked in, and I got it that, hey, ministry is, because remember, Minister D, everybody had to go to online,
Yes.
trying to teach the Bible studies, trying to
Yes.
preach to the members, trying to get the
Right.
funds to continue the offerings, tithes and
Right.
offerings to
Right.
still come in. And so it was like a big to do. What did you experience during that time as ministry was
It
struggling?
it was it was a time that I was, well, first of all, I was so glad when we could freely worship and
Mhm.
everything together again. But it was a time of really just knowing that people in other countries are still just as much about God as we are in ministry, and to see those people excited and anxious to be, on the videos, the Zoom, the all the
Mhm.
different things, the teams, the different things that we used during the pandemic time, and those people were really excited and on fire for God, and that did a lot for me within my spiritual walk, because I was like, oh my, it's people everywhere that love God like we love God. So
Like, we
it
love
was
God.
awesome
And
for
then
me to experience that.
here's the thing, something else, is that the educational piece, we were able to keep, help continue with the growth in ministry. You being an educator, with, Pastor Troy being an educator, and,
Mhm.
those of us teaching at different times, doing different levels of teaching of things.
Right.
It was, I think, really kind of liberating and freeing for to still
Yes.
be able to give information from Meriwether Bible Institute, and to be
Right.
able to talk. I tell you, I'll never forget, you were really preparing for some other things, and we had a class. We had someone that enrolled for one class, and I was already teaching a class, and I said, oh my goodness, I said, she's going to be like, oh, I said, well, I need you to come in, and I need for you to be the one that kind of makes sure she's sticking to the syllabus, she's doing the things that she needed to do. She was the only one at that time that was taking New Testament survey. The
Yes.
one of the pastors was, and so I said, I know it's last minute. I know you're doing several other things, but I really need you to jump in and take responsibility for this class of teaching, and make sure she's going through and getting all the
Yes.
information that she needs to be successful in this. And so a lot of people don't know, along with us being sisters, there's
Hmm.
so many parts to ministry. We're not just
Right.
like trying to do the local thing, we're doing the global thing, we're doing the Bible study thing, we're doing the publishing thing, we're
Right.
doing so many different things, along with, as we talked about last week,
Yes.
your job. So it can be like so very overwhelming, to just really try to manage it all, just really, really,
Right.
really manage
Right.
it all.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. And it
Get crazy.
doing.
So I think what
Mhm.
we'll do now, I'm gonna go down because I got stuck in that part. Go ahead, Mr.
No,
D.
you're fine. Let's move on.
Okay, all righty. So let me tell you. we have a lot of strategic meetings that talk about strategy for ministry.
Yes.
It's easy to have the desire to do it, it is, but along
Right.
with when you do ministry together as sisters, you're not just
Yes.
navigating the ministry that you're doing, you're also
Right.
navigating your relationship as well. Okay, like I see
Yes.
my sister on here now, okay, but I've already talked to my sister today.
Right.
I didn't talk to her
Hmm.
about, what we're talking about today. I talked to her as my sister. So even
Yes.
with the global ministry and it's going, we're still maintaining that and maintaining our relationship at the
Right.
same time. So,
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, for you, how is it, Minister D, when we're going to come on and do something and then I have what is it, kind of comical kind of sense of humor. So
Yes.
when I call, I say hello and all different things like that. And so, how is that for you? Knowing that we're getting ready to come on. How are you thinking at that moment when I call and I do my usual hello? What are we doing? That kind of thing.
Well, it kind of help ease ease the thought process, because a lot of times I am in very serious mode, and a lot of times that's what I need to kind of get my day a little bit more comical and in a better kind of lighten up. So for me, it's awesome that we're able to communicate before we even get on to do this, because sometimes that's what is needed for me to feel comfortable in doing, what I need to do once I get on the show. But I love when you call like that. Don't ever
Oh,
stop. If you
okay.
stop, I'm gonna think something's wrong.
So I'm wrong because I can be very comical people. I have a sense of humor. And so I have learned over the years that if you keep it light, if you enjoy what you're doing, if it's something you're very familiar with, you'll be
Yeah.
very effective with it. Ministry is something that we know, it's something that we do, it's a part of who we are, it's a calling
Right.
on our
Right.
life. And so,
Right.
we can talk about different things because that's who we are. Even in
Right.
our relationship as sisters, we still talk about things. Now, one of the most important things, whether you're doing global ministry for
Yes.
global impact, if you're trying to go beyond the border or
Right.
anything else, it's a thing within the ministry of listening and
Hmm.
sharing and being open and honest.
Right.
Do
Right.
you
That's
agree?
number one thing, is
Is
being open
yeah,
and honest. Yes.
I agree too, because a lot of times we'll participate in things. I can remember when I was in corporate America and would participate in things, and I didn't no more have anything. My country just came out, people, nothing invested in that. And, as far as my emotions and feelings, how I overly felt about that. And
Mm-hmm.
so it would be kind of, difficult. But when it comes down to ministry things
Yes.
and being trying to help them to grow and expand, that's something that means something to me. And so I'm going to share my honest opinion. I'm going to, share
Mm-hmm.
things. And then in response, I'm waiting to hear things that will cause us to really say, okay, let's do this, so that we can experience growing from doing the ministry that we are doing. You can't have impact by yourself, people. A lot of
Right.
times when it's family
No, you cannot.
ministries, it's a big I, little you. No, there's no I in the word team, and
Mm-hmm.
it takes everybody to get it done. Now, do we have to have things in place where you have to steer or direct? That's in everything that you do. But in order for things to be successful, in the
That's
words of our
right.
dad, it takes all of us working together to get it done.
Yes.
I
Yes.
truly believe that. So, some of the efforts I was thinking about that we have been involved in, even as little children, I thought
Mm-hmm.
back to when we were at, um, I don't know, you tell me if I'm wrong, was it Shallow that we did the quarters, dimes, and nickels in the little
Uh,
holders? Was it Shallow or was it Friendship? I don't know.
uh,
We were working with doing the missions, And so we were
Uh-huh.
saving up the quarters and the things, and we would bring the little thing to the church. Once it got filled, it was a $10 thing.
Okay. It
They
it
did it
it
one time for
right.
building. They did it one time for missions.
Right. I think it had to be shallow. It
Okay,
had to be
they
shallow.
did
And
that because
right.
it was important, even though we were involved with
Mm-hmm.
so many times of going to the conventions and things. We
Right.
hear them talking about missions over
Mm-hmm.
in the youth department, over in the young adult department. In the adult department, they talked about foreign missions. It was a big
Yes.
thing. And I would wonder to myself, I would sit there sometimes, I was like, what do we do? What it really is this foreign mission that they keep really talking about
Right.
doing? And
Right.
where's this money going, and what difference is it really making in the lives of others? And why is this important to me? Why is it important for me to sit here
Right.
and hear about this? Because I need to be concerned about Shiloh Baptist Church. As a little child with my money, I need to give my money, my dollar that I had to give for my $5 on Sunday to Shiloh Baptist Church. What were your thoughts about that when you heard the word foreign mission when you were younger?
Well, I just thought that okay, well they taking up money again, I guess to feed somebody, and because I was younger, so everyone have
Mm-hmm.
to understand that I was younger, so my thought process wasn't quite
Mm-hmm.
there yet, but I was like, oh okay, well I hope they really feeding these people. They take up a lot of money for this stuff. Because
Mm-hmm.
I was a little child during that time, but I did think that it was great, that they even took
Mm-hmm.
time to even think or consider global ministry at all.
Well, I started thinking, to myself, because we watched a lot of Tarzan and things like that on TV with our
Mm,
brothers. They love to watch those shows. And I thought everybody was around, in the tribal attire, with the arrows and the spears,
yes,
running around, and we were sending those people literally the money. That's what I was thinking. And I was
right.
like, okay, what are they going to do with money? They don't seem to need money, because what you saw on TV and what was
Mhm.
actually real were two different things. It's funny what people think you comprehend when you're doing something, but when you're
Right,
growing up as a child and you're seeing it, because our parents were active
right.
pastors and first lady in ministry our entire life. So that's all we
That's
know.
right.
Grandmama, granddaddy, aunts,
Hmm.
uncles, busy in ministry. So it was amazing sometimes the things that I thought about in my mind when we were doing things. I was like, they got spears and their outfits on, and where are they going to buy stuff at? Because it doesn't look like it's a store. So those kind of crazy things
Well,
went through my mind. But
right,
as I
right.
got older, I've been
Hmm.
able to realize that that's not what it is, and that is so much more involved in those efforts. And
Right,
that's the thing that's mind blowing when you really see the impact. The children that we
right,
have, that you can sponsor a child. That's mind blowing. $37,
right,
we're thinking that makes a major difference, and them getting their school clothes and all those kind of things.
right,
Um,
right.
just as a mother, outside of the ministry part, being a woman
Yes,
and a mother, you and I both
yes,
know.
yes.
We really tried to make sure that our kids, when they were younger, had all the things that they needed for school, for all of that. And
Right.
so I can't imagine being a mother in another country. What's your take on it?
Well, I being a mother, well, I've always wanted my children to have everything that they needed, and I can only imagine being in some of the countries where they're waiting for a response to have those things that they need. But in just being in this ministry walk and just seeing how much it helps to sponsor somebody or donate. It has been really an awesome thing because being a mother myself, I know how it is to want your children to have their things they need for school, for at home, and just everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been
Yeah,
really
I can understand that.
okay.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then it helped to really, because when we got over to that piece of the, that's not something we actually went in to do, was sponsor children. If you look back, it was
Right.
really to preach, to evangelize, but all of
Right.
that's a part of it. It ties together. You
Yes.
kind of grow as you go along. You learn different things. It was for me to just see those babies needing. The school system
Right.
is different there. They have to pay fees to go to school.
Right.
They don't get a choice. You can't show up in whatever you want to. If you're coming to school, you got to have on your uniform. But then, not just that, imagine being at home and you don't have the basic things at home like food, clean
Right.
water, those kind of things that you need just to get up and get going. And then to realize that something, that small amount, makes a difference in a person's life, that's mind
Right.
blowing to me. It
Yes.
really,
Yes.
really is really mind blowing. I know a lot
Right.
of times we don't overly like to hear when we come in, we want to talk about me and mine, or we want to talk about the church where we go, the ministry that we're just doing right there. But our family um, does global
Yes.
ministry. That's the focal
Yes.
point. And so those are some titles and topics and things that we will talk about. The narrative will be a lot of times in response to that, because that's
Right.
what we
Right.
know. Now, do we each fellowship at local assemblies and those types of things and do ministry all around the United States of America? Yes, we do. Teaching workshops and speaking and
Yes.
preaching and singing and whatever other things that we can do for the Lord.
Yes.
We do that, and we do it, wholeheartedly for the Lord. I can remember when you came here and you guys preached. You preached my 10th pastoral anniversary at the church. You came and you preached here, and that was a very different experience for me,
Yeah.
for you,
Yes.
because it kind of like solidified a lot of things of, hey, this is where the ministry is going. We're going to be traveling, we're going to be doing things, even though we didn't see a lot of those things at that moment. It was still growing and evolving, and those things, it was something else. What are your thoughts, Minister Dean?
Well, it during that time that you're talking about, it was a big I stepped out on faith because as long as I can remember, um, and it's been a long time. Yes, we have been in ministry, but you started really young. Doing the global ministry thing, and
Mm-hmm.
it just even then when I first really just got off into the ministry thing, because I was slow to accept my calling. I was slow to do, because I was like, Lord, you could not be telling me
Mm-hmm.
this. But just being around, and I've always been in church, don't get me wrong on that part, I've always been in
Mhm,
church. But on that take of coming out and just seeing for the really first time how involved you were with
mhm,
ministry and all the things that you've done, and just to hear your pastor at that time
mhm,
talk to us and let us know that, hey, um, your sister, your daughter, uh,
mhm,
she's an awesome woman of God. I can depend on her. She's reaching out to people for me. All the things that I heard, I knew I had to get on the bandwagon and get it together, because
mhm.
when I came out to preach for you, that was it was just amazing, guys. And I just have to talk from the heart. It was amazing because these are the things that taught me how to do the different kinds of ministry that Meriwether Global Ministry offers. All the things that my big sister has done in the past. So I have to speak on that. I know it might seem like I'm a bit off what we're talking about, but those are the
Oh
things
no,
that
it all
got me
ties
to
together.
where I'm at today, just seeing all the stuff that she did. And boy, she does a lot. So at this point, I am sold out as far as
Mhm.
ministry goes and reaching out to different ones, because it's just awesome, having a sister that's on the same uh, page as you are when
Mhm.
it's coming to loving God, because it's all about loving God. So
It's all about love. Thank you so much for saying that. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's all about God. I'm so thankful because a lot of times when you're busy working, and I have to just say this, I was listening as you were talking, and I thank you for those words of appreciation and those wonderful things that you were saying. When you're doing the work, you're not thinking about the different things that you are doing. And so sometimes you don't even think about it, and you know it. You don't think about it. If you look back over all the things that you
mhm.
have done, with the ministering song, with preaching, with teaching, with going out to speak, giving
Yes,
workshops and events, it gets to be, well, oh my goodness, God, I didn't even know for me that we were available like that to be used of you, and that you intended to use us that
right,
way. So it's been a very
right.
impactful thing. But the thing that has made it wonderful is that we're
Mhm.
able to do it together,
Yes,
yet still maintain our sisterly bond. Yeah,
right, right.
something like it, because it's serious when you're talking to people about global impact ministry beyond borders, and they go, "Oh man, this is probably going to be a boring show
Right,
on
right.
on today," because you find a lot of people, either they're for missions or they're for just at the home front. They don't understand that it all ties together. We
Right.
are to take care of each other. That doesn't mean just where you are. That means everywhere. We're to reach out. Yeah, you were supposed to go and make disciples of everywhere. Okay, so
Yes.
that doesn't mean just right there. That means everywhere. Everywhere
Right,
that
right.
God created, everywhere, people.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's today's show, even though it's supposed to be like super, super serious, people, I still have to always just put some humor in there, because God is a God that's of love and kindness and
Yes.
meekness and joy and peace. And,
Mhm.
so he's our hope. And so I always try to, put that in anything that we're doing. I think my sister can be the serious side of us. I didn't realize that, people, until we started doing this show. She'd be like serious, like we are here to make it happen, and you better do exactly what we're supposed to do. And my mind be just off in whirly twirly land. Like, we might talk about some. That sounds good. Let's throw that in there too, Jesus. But a lot of times I have to remember, like you said, it's not about us, it's all about God. But this is an enjoyable thing for me. I look forward to it on Saturdays, that I get to
Yes.
come on with my sisters. She is in Alabama, I'm here in DC. We're not even in the
Right,
same city. And so
right,
isn't
right.
it amazing how we get to be on at the same time? I think back all those years when I first started pastoring, and I would come on, and everybody was like, "How are you on the computer? How is everybody able to see you?" And that was back in like 2005 or 2004. And I had found this little stream, Ustream. That's what it was called. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Ustream. And I would stream the
Right,
Bible study. Your mom said, "How you on the thing with the Bible
right.
study?" And I could see you, and we can
Yeah.
talk at the same time. I think I was
Right, right.
doing the conference Bible study maybe like 12 years before people really started doing it.
Right, right.
But
Revivals.
all of those kind of things. And
Yes.
here's the thing that's so funny: when
Mhm.
Dad and I would talk, he would say, just keep doing them.
Right,
They're
right.
the building blocks to get, you know, where we're going and where we're heading. And he said, no, 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 and he would talk. He was such a patient, kind, loving father, not just
Yes.
as our physical father, but also in ministry as far as steering and guiding us.
Mhm.
I mean, really, we didn't just live Jesus. So y'all know at church, we live Jesus at home too, because we had Lady Betty Rose at Mo Merriweather to make sure that
Yes.
you told
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
line. She was the
Okay.
most proper. She was the most proper woman that I've ever
Yes.
met. in
Yes.
etiquette, decorum, all those kind of things. Yes,
Yes.
you weren't gonna dress any kind of way, do whatever you know.
No.
That
No.
didn't fly with mom. What are your thoughts?
Well, just thinking back on her, because I've often hear so many things about her because I actually live in the town where we
Hmm.
lived, and it's just
Hmm.
amazing to me, and I'm yet so appreciative now.
Hmm.
Whereas I once saw it as a burden. I was like,
Hmm.
oh my God, if she, you get back in there and you change your clothes. And she
Hmm.
wasn't gonna really raise her voice, but you knew she meant what she said. And I just think back on all of that, and it has made us into who we are.
Hmm. To who we are,
And
because she give you that
yes,
look, and you be like, I thought I was gonna be able to get away with it, but probably won't.
right, right,
Hmm.
right.
And you'd
So
have to change from what you had
right.
on. And I thought to myself, I was thinking, because I told her one time when we were talking, and we were coming from the airport, and she said, what are your thoughts about me as a mother? I said, do you really want to know? And she said, I really want to know. And she
Okay.
looked at me, and I said, well, I got to tell you, I thought you was one of the craziest people going. I said, because you just did. She said, what? I said, yes. I said, you just didn't, you expected us to do certain things. And I just thought to myself, how can you be like that, all the time? But she was a very loving mother. Let's not confuse it. Very
Right,
loving,
right.
caring mother.
Very.
But you were going to do things the proper way. And like my sister said, that in turn made us into the women of God that we
Yes.
are on today. And so I wholeheartedly thank her for that,
Yes.
because even when we're doing global ministry and those kind of
Yes. Yes.
things,
Yes.
everyone still comments on, how nice we are, how proper we are with things, how things are done decent and in order. And that
Yes.
makes a difference. Just because you're going outside and reaching to the other borders and all
Yeah.
of that, still the things that were planted inside of us, they are the things
Right.
that have made the difference. Now I know, Minister D, I went all over the spectrum today with the
Mhm.
stuff that I was sharing, but a lot of it, I think in order to share doing global ministry, we had to make people aware of like kind of where we came from with it, when it
Yes.
started,
Yes.
what kind of experiences we had, and then
Mm-hmm.
why is it important to who we are. The
Right.
thing is, what we do in ministry, I think it causes our family, along with us being sisters, to become closer, because we're doing something that all of us were called to do, which is serving God. We're making
Right.
disciples of others. Meriwether Global Ministries is a ministry at work, winning souls for Christ all around the world. The operative word is evangelizing all around
On the
the
world.
world. And so on
Yes.
today, we just tried to tell you a little bit of how you can do that, but also interject, some of our experiences from our life. The podcast that
Right.
we're sharing with you is really to be just transparent and real with you and say, hey, you
Yes.
can do ministry. We are sisters. We're doing it. We're making it
Yes.
happen, and we're
Yes. Yes.
enjoying it. What do you think, Minister D?
Yes. It doesn't take um a lot, and if you just do it, and just it's just a natural thing to us. So it's hard for me to imagine that it's not so natural for other people. I do understand that people have
Hmm.
to grow, but it's just so natural until when you're serving God, it becomes that way. So I encourage families to get together
Hmm.
and participate in Bible studies and do things
Hmm.
together as a family, as sisters, as brothers, and just talk about Jesus.
Hmm.
And
I
because
agree with
God
you.
loves us.
He loves us.
Yes.
How they say now. So don't be surprised, people, when I come back on. I got some black glasses. I got some. I ain't been wearing them because that's been your thing, and I've been the multicolor person. But I think the black ones I might can see a little bit better in them than I can
Uh-huh.
in these. Y'all know I'm crazy. I'm going to say, for those that know me here, okay, she's been the same way she is here. But I am really enjoying this, and we are looking forward to
Right.
sharing with you we have
Uh-huh.
been added to some more networks. We're so thankful
Yes.
to God because this is something that's fun for us that we're doing. But through the week you can hear us. If you have Amazon, if you're a Prime member, you can go on Amazon Music or Amazon
Yes.
Audio, and you can hear us on Spotify. You can hear us. So there's different ways that you can listen. Next week I'll make sure we have it all written out so that we can say it for you. But we're
Right.
just really here to do something that we felt would be kind of, I don't know, just sharing with everyone that with
Yes.
ministry as sisters, real
Mm-hmm.
sisters, blood sisters, same
Yeah.
parents, sisters, that you can do ministry, you can do life, you can love each
Yes.
other, love God, and make an impact around the world. So, as we
Yeah.
prepare to close on today, Minister D, what are my last two lines? I think I come on before you. It says, remember at the end, the very end, remember no matter where you are, your ministry has the potential to reach across borders and touch lives around the world. Minister
Uh,
D,
Until next time, may your ministry continue to grow, flourish, and be blessed and making a difference in the lives of people, family, friends, everybody. Uh,
amen. I agree, near and far. So until next
yes.
time, we want you to continue to be blessed of the Lord. So hold that look, Minister D, until I give you the signal that we
Okay.
have